It's under KWLG trainings.
So appreciate you all. Austin Bronze, a special guest today. So appreciate you all being here, taking the time out of your busy morning and joining us on this fine mid-July morning. So thank you all for coming. As always, this won't work the first time. All right, so gratitude. Always like to start off our meetings with something that we're grateful for. Would anybody have anything they would like to share that they're grateful for? Anybody? Life. Life. That is, every day above ground's a good day, right? Yes, sir. Anybody else? What do we got?
Let's keep going. Just keep talking.
Anybody else? I have something. I got to be present this weekend for my wonderful sister-in-law's wedding to her wonderful husband, Mike. So I was grateful for being a part of that.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Anybody got anything else? Cliff?
I'm grateful for, we had a wonderful weekend, or actually week last week, out in Luray, Virginia, hiking in the Shenandoah National Park in Blue Ridge Mountains.
Nice.
Great time. Nobody got hurt, and we did some kind of pretty crazy like trails, stuff like that too. So this was good. Weather was good. So I'll take that any day of the week.
Awesome.
No injuries. We'll take it.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. I started hurting just hearing you talk about it. So
Yeah.
So, thank you, Sandra.
I have one.
Eric's got one.
Just recognition to Cassandra. She's just flat out amazing at everything she does and has had to deal with recently.
Thanks, Eric.
Way to try to get your commissions processed faster.
Yeah, make sure mine's first today.
You got it.
So, as you know, our Y4C2Ts, this week or this month, I'm sorry, I wanted to talk a little bit about trust, and it starts with honesty. And I think you've seen that in action from your leadership team over the last 6 weeks or so, with the changes that have happened with the leadership team, the old going out, the new coming in. You guys have put a lot of trust in them. They've delivered, as Eric just stated. So it does, and it all starts with just being upfront and being honest and asking for a little bit of grace as we transition through this time. Cassandra, Amanda, they've done an amazing job. Christy has come on. She's picking things up great. As always, Rich is amazing. So the trust starts with you guys having trust in the leadership team that they're going to carry the torch forward and get everything done. So I just wanted to take a minute and say that. Appreciate all the agents' patience and grace during that transition, and appreciate all the efforts and energy that the leadership team has put into making it go. Yes, Erica.
I just wanted to share, obviously, this is not our only office that ever has transitioned. But this office particularly handles change very graciously, and compared to some of our other offices and agents, this group deserves recognition for that. So thank you.
Yes, thank you guys all so much. All right, again, just a reminder, do everything in a TCPA compliant way. Don't get no violations. That 500 to 1500 is no joke. None of us want to pay it. And for those of you on Zoom, utilize your PIN, use the chat, and we will make sure to follow up and get with you for your best Zoom experience. New agents.
That's the move.
Wow.
Welcome.
This is the next level.
Yeah, not only were they making sure the office was running smoothly and getting everybody paid, they were also animating cat faces. So just to show you how next level they truly are. So in the month of June, we had some new agents join us: Marie Mullick, Dylan Rhines, Raquel Strickland Scott, Sherwood Shoemaker, Lillian Von Weil, Christina Jaranowski, Tommy Mentions, Dominic Leone, and Jared Denner. And I know at least Sherwood is in the room. So if you are a new agent that joined us in June, would you please stand?
Oh, it's my turn.
Okay. So June's profit share was $56,295, which puts our year-to-date total at $229,533. You'll note it matches. Give me the business about this before I read.
You'll notice it doesn't match.
It does?
Oh,
All right,
$12 off.
somebody. It's me either way. What's my next one?
Great month on profit share.
Wonderful. Congratulations to our June cappers. We've got Andy Alamini, Hannah Laps, Melissa Steiner, Dan Butera, and Gina Van Orsdale. None of whom are here, but we'll. All right, and then we have June top producers. There is at least 2 slides.
There is.
There is 2 slides.
Is it 2 or 3?
It's just 2.
Just 2. All right. So that means you sold 3 houses or more than $500,000 in volume. So if that is true for you, could you please stand up and give yourself a round of applause, just real quick? Be cool about it. One other thing, while I am up here, don't look at her. She had a death in the family. I am kicking her out of here from Wednesday until next Tuesday. So if you have something come up in the next few days, please email me. I will do my best. I'm going to find some friends to ask in the network that can help me if I don't know the answer, but we're going to let her have some time away to breathe. Okay? Thanks, guys. Do I have anything else?
Nope. All right, Rich, you're up next. Thanks, Cassandra.
I'm
Not allowed to
looking
look
at
at
you.
you, Amanda.
Don't
So I'm
look
just
at
gonna
me.
keep
Don't
going by. All right, good morning, everybody. It's actually nice to see that we had closings because I can tell you as the broker, I think that every deal this brokerage has right now has a problem. There is a problem with every single one of your transactions, even my own. It's crazy. So congratulations on the closings. Those are great. Couple things. So vacant land listings, just a reminder, we've actually seen this now twice in the last month. We have agents that are still listing vacant land that does not belong to the seller that they're talking to or the person that they're talking to. I know it can be really confusing when somebody's out of state to try and understand who they are, but please use forewarn. If you can't find an address for that vacant land or something in their profile that says that they own it, chances are they have done something, they don't own it, and they've done something to make you think that they do. What I'm really concerned about, sadly, I'll tell you, is my own rear end that I don't have anyway, is because we have a broker that actually got fined and their license suspended because an agent chose to list vacant land and got all the way to closing. It did not close, but because it got all the way to the title company at closing, they suspended the agent and the broker's license. So I'm just saying to you, like, they are really holding people accountable for these actions because you do have a fiduciary duty to the client that actually owns the property, if you're working with them, but you also have a duty to make sure you're working with the right person. So, all right. Commercial listings and sales. I know that, like I just said, all of the closings we're having, great, but it's slowing down simply because deals are taking longer and people are wanting to do commercial deals. They're wanting to get in commercial leases. If you don't know what you're doing, you are doing a huge disservice to not only yourself, but your client. So please, if you don't know what you're doing with commercial, don't call and ask for the commercial purchase agreement. Let's call and figure out how we can get you help by partnering with an agent, because it will come back to you. And as I mentioned, I think I had mentioned, NAR had come up with, it was voted down, but at the meeting last month, they actually came out with a new rule that they will probably keep trying to rule out. They're going after realtors who are not competent in the area of which they're practicing. And when I say NAR can't come after you, but the division can, and NAR is creating those teeth for the division and the codes and canons of ethics. So please, if you don't know what you're doing, pay attention. Let's get some help for you. Cliff, you have a question?
Oh, no, I was just scratching.
Okay. Scratching, moving the hair around.
Yeah.
HUD Home Store, if you guys think that you're going to sell, oh boy, what did I miss? Oh, okay. HUD Home Store, if you think that you're going to sell a foreclosure, because we are starting to see a few of those here and there, please contact me for HUDHomestore.com access. Don't wait until you're going to show the client the house and then at midnight the offer is going to expire and you're calling me at 12 or 11:59 at night. I'm not answering the phone for you, and I probably am not getting you on the HUD Home Store website. So please give me a heads up. If you think you're going to work with foreclosures at all as a buyer's agent, just email me and let me get you on the list. Okay. Escrow letter, we did change the escrow letter. We updated that. It was not a problem again at this brokerage. I just want to say that Cassandra, you do an amazing job, you and your team, of getting everybody paid. We do not have complaints that I'm aware of ever at this brokerage, especially since Cassandra came around on getting you guys paid. But you can now get paid even faster if that's a possibility. The new escrow letter is in dotloop, and there are 3 different ways now that we can receive a commission check. One is the paper check we always get overnighted to us or through snail mail. The other way is if an agent wants to communicate with the title company, where they will issue the check, scan and email the check and settlement statement over to Cassandra, or to you as the agent, you can forward it to Cassandra. We will get you paid off of that while we're still waiting for the check to come in the mail or be overnighted. And the third way is going to be a wire transfer. So if you want to elect to get a wire transfer, the wire instructions are in dotloop, as well as the new updated escrow letter, and you can have them wired over. So I would say give Cassandra a heads up if you're going to do that, though, because those incoming wires don't always match, and we want to make sure that we're getting the right person paid. The other thing is I did not delete the old escrow letter, because as much as you are flexible and happy with change, some of you don't like change, and so we left both of those in there for you. And then I think I covered kind of know where you're selling with the commercial listings and sales. So yeah.
Back to the vacant land listing, how is that not getting caught during the title search?
Well, a lot of what's happening is they're using a similar name or the same name as the person that is the seller. So what we've seen so far is they've even gone as far as sending an ID that looks legitimate, but we wouldn't know it was from Washington State. We don't know what their licenses look like. So, unfortunately, if you saw an Ohio one and it looked different to you, you might recognize that, but we have no idea what they look like out of state. They actually input the seller's name, but their address. And how would we know anything different unless you look up in Forewarn and you see that vacant land was not ever owned by that human? You wouldn't be able to catch it. And so unfortunately, the last one was caught by the title company right before closing, because thankfully the title company said, no, you are not ordering the notary to come to you and us sending the paperwork to you. We will control ordering the notary so that we know it's being done properly and being sent back to us. The the seller argued and said they wanted to set up their own. So because the title company put that fail-safe in place, that protected the real owner of the property. Otherwise, had the title company just said, oh, how convenient, you have somebody scheduled, we'll send you the paperwork, send it back to us, it would have been notarized. Whether it was legal or not, we would have never known. We would have transferred the property and given them their money. So that's how it was caught this time.
So most cash vacant land listings are just e-signature, right? There's not normally meeting up in person.
Yep.
You can e-sign it, so.
You can e-sign the listing, you mean?
No,
And the
for
purchase
closing.
agreement? Oh, for
You
closing?
can sign, you know what I mean?
If
So-
that was an e-signature, we probably would have been in worse trouble. We're not in any trouble at the moment, but I guess we would have been in trouble. And not just as the title company. And that's why I say, you have tools at your disposal to find out if somebody owns that property. Look up the tax parcel number and see where is the tax bill getting mailed to. If it's not getting mailed to the person in Washington State, look up the other address and see where it's going to and try and track something down. Like I said, I know deals are hard to come by. I know that everybody is super busy, but you have to do your due diligence, because we can't just blindly trust these humans, unfortunately. So, all right, that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for. All right. moving on, we got our friends in cross country.
That would be crazy, and a land deal, and that's just people are always trying to.
It's tough out there.
It is. It's like, man, there's always something you're hearing. So, okay, all right. Well, good morning, guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys are having a busy summer. I know we have been busy. It's been pretty crazy, but crazy good. A couple of things I wanted to touch on first. OFA deals, whether they're with us or they're with any lender that's out there right now, just be prepared. It's always good to talk to your client about delays. Because when OFA had that little fire sale with the interest rates being reduced for that, what was it, like a 3 or 4 day period, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of bottlenecked them, and then you saw immediately they raised their rates and everything. So just be mindful. Still a great program, still good, to get any kind of down payment assistance that you can get, but just be on they're about 3 weeks behind right now. So just, if you have deals in with your sellers and they're like, hey, why is this not closing? Just, educate them on the situation. Okay, the more information, the better. And so everybody's compliant and has proper expectations set, then everybody's happy. Okay. All right. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. And then two, our featured product of the month right now is our 15% down, no PMI program. I talked about it a little bit earlier in Gina's class with some of the newbies there. Great program. Because there's a lot of clients that don't have the 20% to put down and don't want to pay the PMI. So if they fit that mold, 740 credit score, higher, back end debt ratio 43%, they can qualify for it. And they can run Fannie or Freddie. So, and that actually works with refinances too, for, even try to educate them down the road. If they wanted to refi and they got a little bit of equity, they can still do that too. So good information on that. So it's a great program. I just wanted to make sure that you guys know about that. That's another one that we have in our arsenal. Okay. And then fun. Who's been watching the World Cup? Anybody been watching World Cup? Hopefully, come on. I mean, I know USA. They honestly, guys, the USA this was probably the best team that they've had in quite some time, because I've watched a lot of soccer, and this was kind of nice for them to kind of represent. But cross country is doing a really fun championship day party that we're going to kind of do at High Five up in Cleveland. So if anyone's interested in doing that, we're going to have some fun, some food, some drinks, things like that. Let me know, or let any of us know. We'll get you registered, for that to come up and have some fun on Sunday. Because I think Sunday is going to be Championship Sunday. It's at 2:30. So just let us know. All right. I know you guys have a couple things to chat about too.
One big thing, like as Rich pointed out, like all the deals have problems and stuff right now. So one of the big things you guys are probably running into are a lot of contingencies. And so we're seeing actually, even just in-house, that we've got deals that are contingent upon contingent upon contingent, and you got 3 or 4 houses that need to close. One of the things that we want to mention to you is that look into a bridge loan, and that's something that we try to go over with clients as well. But we have 3 different bridge loan products, and so your traditional bridge loan, which a lot of people kind of shy away from because you have to have a lot of financial strength. You've got to be able to carry your current mortgage payment, your new mortgage payment, plus the interest only bridge loan. So a lot of times, like when you mention that to people, they have this, preconceived notion of like, ooh, that's kind of scary, type of thing. But we have other products that we can actually eliminate their current mortgage payment. And so it really helps their debt to income, helps us get everything sped along pretty quick. We actually partner with some third parties and work really, really close with them. So the nice thing is with those options, let us educate your client and educate you as the agent as well, because it's only going to add strength, because we can remove that contingency and get that deal pushed to closing. And so just had a client that was pre-approved actually with someone else with their big box bank. And he was like dead set on like, this is my bank. I love my bank. All my money's at my bank. But he found his dream home. And in dealing with everything, it was going to be a contingency. And it was one of those to where everybody was getting frustrated. And so he ended up sitting down with me. He hears bridge loan, and that made him a little nervous. And when we walked through the whole process, we could eliminate his current mortgage payment. The bridge loan actually was able to pay off his current mortgage, give him enough money to make his, for his down payment. And we're getting him into his dream home. And then his home just went back on the market. It gave him 6 months to sell, but it just went back on the market, went under contract, is closing, found a cash buyer. And so he gets this influx of money after the fact. So he is like ecstatic. He sent me a text the other day. It was like, man, thank you so much. Like, I absolutely love it. So that's just something that'll give you guys added strength. So if you have a deal where you're like, we want to get rid of this contingency, you have a client that's been looking forever, send them our way to at least like to see if we can give them a second opinion or another option. So
Yeah, so good stuff, guys. We're
That's
here to
it.
help. All right. Thanks for the time today, guys.
I appreciate that. Next up, Dina.
Okay. So I know today we're gonna be talking about ways in which you can get off-market listings. Actually, I think it's always funny when buyers say, hey, do you have any off-market listings? I don't even know what that means. We don't have this bank of off-market listings. It's called the MLS. In any case, so we did some research and I know we've got some people talking about it today. So I did come up with a couple of things and I put together a whole plan for you guys. I'm just gonna kind of touch on it. But I don't know if you've ever heard of this or not, but two new sources of business, if you don't know about it. One is called equity mining, and the second one is called lifestyle trigger marketing. So what's equity mining? Now, this takes some research. So this is not like one of those sources that you're gonna be able to get some information, dump it into Command, into a smart plan. You actually are gonna have to put some time into this because each individual person that you're marketing to, you need to know some information on them. It's not like circle prospecting for an address. You need to dig into each individual person to see how much equity they have in their home, what their age range is, and then, possibly what can we do to get them information so that you can look like the expert. And then when and if they're ready, they'll reach out to you. So I put together some information on step-by-step implementation on that, as well as a schedule, a weekly schedule and a monthly schedule and some scripts in here. But just to touch on it quickly, what is equity mining? You're looking for someone who's owned their house more than 7 years. And then, do a CMA in an area. So it's recommended that you pick one location or one group of people. Don't try to do it all at one time, like everything, like farming. Have a successful farm first before you expand, right? So find different individuals who lived in their house for more than 7 years. You've got to do some digging to find out what kind of equity that they likely have. Growing families, empty nesters, people looking to maybe upsize or downsize. And then you start providing them with some reports, like what their equity is, or kind of like you would work for sale by owners, where you give them a CMA or email that to them. I do have some, I'll get to that in a minute here, some resources that you can use to find people's email addresses as well. Lifestyle trigger marketing, that would be more like teaming up with the divorce attorney or looking into deaths and working with nursing homes and things like that to be able to understand different lifestyle changes could cause people to need someone, to list their house. And again, there's a step-by-step chart here of what you can do. I know I get a lot in coaching of people saying, well, how the heck do you get people's email addresses if they don't give it to me? Well, a couple things that you can use is for resources. I mean, I had a sort of client drive past a vacant lot in a neighborhood and she looked up who the owner was, called me and said, this person owns this lot in this neighborhood. And so we just Googled the person's name and guess what? His email address was there because he, wherever he works, that was a public email address. So Google somebody's name, LinkedIn, of course, White Pages Premium, Hunter.io, Apollo.io, Rocket Research, Contact Out, and Lucia are some of the sites that you could use to find possibly public email addresses. But again, different sources of business, we need listings. So I don't know about you, but if I didn't know that I had, let's say, $70,000 equity in my house, and because I didn't keep up on the values, that might be a trigger to cause me to say, you know what, maybe it is time to list, and then you can also pick up a buyer. There we go. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tina. All right, so as Gina alluded to, what we're gonna center our topic around this month is creating inventory. We can all agree that we're still in the seller's market and we're still lacking in inventory, correct? So what do you do when you have a buyer that is looking for a specific home And there's nothing on the MLS outside of waiting for someone else to go list a house that matches your buyer's needs. So, what I wanted to do today is we got 2 of our agents that are rock stars in certain areas. So I'd like to invite up at this time Christian Lamb, who is practicing the golden letter. So, and Jason LaCourt, who is working his expired listings to a high level. So welcome, guys.
Thanks, Brad.
So, what I want to do is, Christian, kind of want to start off with you and just got some questions to lob your way. So, first off, what made you decide to start using the golden letter? And is everybody familiar with what the golden letter is? Yes, no, one person, no. Okay.
Okay.
I saw one head shake no. So why don't you give us explanation?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Hi, I have also got one.
Okay, everybody's got letters from me.
In fairness, I've got
Yep, still works out my house.
This is what it is. So essentially, it's very simple. Name, brokerage, dear Robert, would you be interested in selling your home at 123 Main Street to a client of mine? If so, please call on my cell. I put my phone number. Thank you. Little signature, name, website, phone number again, and then disclaimer at the bottom. So this is the same letter that I'm sending out to everybody. Now, I got into golden letters because I can control my lead flow. If I send out 1,000 in a week, I can predict how many responses I'm going to get. If I want to send 10,000 out in a week, I can get 10x the responses. So I can control when people call me.
How long have you been using the golden letter?
So I started sending the golden letter out a month before my first daughter was born, which was May of 2023.
Okay. So a little over 3 years now.
Mhm.
And you've gotten it down to where you can predict like your rate of return from?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's changed a lot too
Has it?
over the years. Yeah.
What is now you mentioned if you can send 1,000 a week or 10,000 a week, what is like how frequently are you sending these?
Yeah. So honestly, it's just when I want to work the model, right? I mean, there's some times where I go on vacation and I just say we're not doing any letters because the calls they just trickle in all the time. People call in. But generally we'll send them out all year except for the months where people aren't really talking about selling. So like Christmas is the time that we try to avoid sending them. So like November, December, we don't.
Okay. So other than that, pretty much every other month.
Yeah, pretty much every other month except times where we're not in town.
And who are you targeting with these letters? Are you going
Yeah.
zip codes, neighborhoods?
Zip codes. Yeah. They have been great to pick the area that I want to move houses in. Like if I want to sell houses in the zip code, I send letters to the zip code. So that's been great. And then we also use we also track other metrics like how long have they lived in the home. We try not to send letters to people who own the home for a long time too. Or who haven't owned the home.
Okay, so that's kind of going back to what Gina said. You're looking to see how long they've owned. They might have that
Yeah.
equity in there that if you get the conversation with them going. Cool. So talk to us a little bit about your process around the whole golden letter system that you're working.
Mhm. So the process looks like I've trained somebody to pull the data. So I get the letters prepped and I get the labels prepped. I click print and then I take the letters and the labels to somebody. They stuff them. They put my signature on it. They put the stamp on it. They put the label on it. They seal the envelope. They take them to the post office.
Yeah. So of the whole pie of the process, you're doing about what percentage of the process?
Yeah. So if we have people working those sides, I'm really not doing much.
Okay.
I'm printing them and I'm dropping them off generally.
And just to give everybody kind of an idea, if you send out this, we'll use a small number, 100, like what are you expecting for a rate of return?
Yeah. So back when everybody was at home during COVID, it was like 1 in 100 appointment rate. So 100 letters will get an appointment. And now we're at about 1 in every 400 letters leads to an appointment. But 1 in every 400, but out of every 400 letters, we get tons of calls. Right, so we get people who are further out, people who are closer, people who just want to tell us to take them off their mailing list, but the appointment rate is pretty consistent at 1 in every 400.
I just so you know, I have never called you to take me off your list. You can keep some.
This is your notification.
So,
Yeah.
what kind of, so you're about one appointment out of every 400. How many are you sending out roughly a month?
About 4,000.
Okay, so then so every month you're looking at generating about 10 listing opportunities, listing conversations, meetings.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you know, it does vary every month, right?
Sure.
I mean, we originally, we ran our economic model to figure out how many we need to send to hit our goals. And then we just sent those every month. And then that's changed with priorities and all that.
So what kind of follow-up plan do you have in place when you do get a response? Let's say you get, because you mentioned you get several different responses. You get, when we won't talk about the people that say, please remove me. But like the people that are a little further out that maybe aren't ready to talk right now, or the people that are like, hey, you know what, you hit me at the right time. We are talking about selling. What kind of follow-up system do you have in place for those two types of sellers?
Yeah, so I mean, some people are ready, and then I treat it like a listing appointment. So this isn't a golden letter appointment, this is my listing appointment. So I take the time to prepare and I go on the appointment. I knock and it's my appointment. Now the great skill that I've developed through talking to all these sellers is understanding that the phone call appointment is the number one goal, right? If they're ready. But the thing that really matters is how long, if not now, is it going to take for these people to become sellers and figuring that out. So a lot of it is done on the initial phone call, and then I tailor the follow-up based on what we talk about.
So if you have someone that on that initial phone call says, hey, we've kind of talked about it, the wife and I, but we decided we're probably at least 2 years out. What steps are you taking to make sure that when those 2 years come, you're the one that they're reaching back out to?
Yeah. So we have I think so we do our next 25 clients list, and then we have our standby and check in,
Okay.
and then we have our kind of dormant longer term people, and so we put them in that list, and then we just follow up with the list.
So what's a dormant, talk to me a little bit more about like what's a dormant long-term follow-up plan kind of look like? Is that something, are you putting them in command and they're on your smart lists or?
Yeah, so it's gonna be every couple months if they're multiple years out.
Okay.
We're sending them market updates. We put them on a market update immediately.
Okay.
Command. And beyond that, they're gonna get our basic follow-up stuff that we do to a whole database. But I spend a lot of my time following up with people on the phone. But I mean, you could follow them when you want, right? There are limits.
So I hope what everybody's hearing is, even though they're telling Christian like, hey, I'm a few years out, he has that plan to put them in, that he stays in some kind of consistent contact with them. So when they're ready, far too often, I know myself, when I'm talking to agents, especially like newer ones that are, you know, we all love the low hanging fruit, right? I mean, we just do, because we all like to get paid in the next 30 days. But a lot of times when I'm talking to newer agents, they're not understanding what to do with the buyers or sellers that aren't ready right now. And just because it's a no for now doesn't mean it's a no forever. It's our job as agents to stay in contact with them. And like Christian said, there's multiple ways. So you got to find out what's comfortable for you, but utilize the resources that we have with Command and Smart Plans and Amanda starting next Wednesday to help you out there. So how long were you sending golden letters till you started seeing some kind of return?
Right away. Yeah.
Right away?
Yeah, I still remember my first call. It turned into a listing a month or so later.
Nice.
And yeah, ran it like the listing appointment.
Are you sending every month? Are you sending them to the same zip codes to the same people? Are you rotating so people aren't getting? Because I know I don't get mine every month, so I don't know. You know, you might think I live in the hood or something and don't want me every month. I don't know.
No, we send them out yearly, usually. Like we try not to hit the same area
Okay.
more than once a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. I think that's important because as I'm sitting here thinking about it, like if I got it every month, could start feeling saturated with it. So that's a good to know. Like one zip code, get it once a year. So cool. How have your letters evolved? Have they evolved, or is this the same format that you've always been using and it works? What's broke, don't fix?
No, so that's the problem that so many people have with this system is that everybody wants to change it. Everybody wants to put their logo on it. Everybody wants to put extra pictures on it and they want to change the letter. But the beauty of the letter is that for some people, it feels like a one-off letter. And so we paste them into the appointment. And in the way that I see it is that there's a buyer for every house out there on the market. So if you're talking to somebody and they say, hey, do you really have a buyer for my home? Absolutely. Like if we meet and we talk about it, like, yeah, absolutely. There's a buyer out there for your home. A lot of people just don't know. Right. I mean, you talk to people and sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I have somebody coming over to talk to me about listing my house, but they're wanting to buy it. So my point is that a lot of people don't fully understand the process. They just want somebody who does to talk to them about it.
Cool. And what else about the golden letter would you like to share with everyone in here?
Nothing. It's I have scripts available. I have the letter. I mean, if anybody wants to actually talk more to me, if you have any questions for me right now, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, does anybody have questions for Christian on the golden letter? Okay.
When you get people who feel, I don't know, bamboozled, I'll say, because they realize at some point in the conversation that maybe you don't actually have a buyer for their home in that moment. What's the script that you're using in those situations to help them understand kind of the reason for it and how you can benefit them?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an objection that comes up, right? But what we find is that the types of leads that we're interested in aren't the ones who are so interested in our mysterious buyer that they continue to hammer that. A lot of the time it's, okay, what do you want out of this? And so we just try to give them what they're looking for. But if it is, we want to know who's your buyer? What's their name? Like, is it my neighbor behind me who wants to buy my house? Like a lot of those conversations we end up talking when we toss a lot of leads. Right. So there is a valid question of, do you have a real buyer? But then there's also pacing it in the appointment of, I have a buyer, and if I have a buyer, imagine how many buyers are on the open market. So although I can't say my buyer looked in your window and said, I want to buy your home specifically, it aligns with their criteria, and all the clients that we work with are highly qualified. So we pace it into the listing.
Yeah, that's cool. So what I heard, you didn't actually commit to like, oh yeah, I got John that's ready to buy. No, I have buyers that I'm working with that have these certain criteria. Your house fits these criteria. And if I have buyers that are looking for, what you have, imagine how many other agents have buyers out there too. So you're not painting yourself into a corner like, hey, yeah, we'll get it sold tomorrow because I got John ready to go. I have buyers that fit the criteria for your house and may want to buy it. Cool. Anybody have any other questions for Christian? Amanda?
Jose says, also, I don't know if I have a buyer unless I see your house and what you are looking to sell it for.
It's a good one. It's a good handler.
Yeah.
Anybody else for Christian before we move over to Jason and interrogate him? Going once?
I guess maybe one other quick, because I've been like, ooh, as a title company, how can we help you?
But it sounds like, just confirming, these letters are simple. It is on white computer paper typed out, not fancy. You don't have a logo, confirming.
Yes.
So yes, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool. Have you tried doing making it fancier, or has that just always worked?
No, and that's the funniest part to me, because everybody does want to change the letter.
Yeah.
Back in 2021, when everybody was at home, golden letters were really popular, and everybody was doing them. And I think people like to put their own spin on things, and I think that's when people run into problems, because people do start to feel like this is a promotion.
Yeah.
That's being sent to me, and then they toss it just like other mailers.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Christian. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Jason, expired listings. So tell me a little bit about what attracted you to working with expired listings.
So I like the expired listings because they're free and
They're all like free.
the ROI on them is great because I pay for other lead sources, but it's so nice to be able to have expired leads. Every midnight, more expired listings are coming onto the market. And I don't mind sitting around making calls.
So talk to us a little bit about your routine around making those calls. Do you have a specific day of the week that you like to do them, time of day? Tell us a little bit about that process.
So I like doing expireds first thing in the morning. So I try to get settled into the office by about 7:45, and then if I'm making calls, I try to be on the phone by about 8 o'clock.
I can vouch for that.
And I've found with expired listings especially, it's very much speed to lead. And the sooner that you can get to the lead, the sooner that you can have a conversation with them, the better. Because I almost sometimes find it more worthwhile just to not even make any calls if it's not going to be first thing in the morning. Because if you try calling by the afternoon, they've already been approached by 10, 15 other agents and maybe already had 2 appointments set up already.
Are you doing it every day, Monday through Friday?
No, so I like when I'm really, as Christian was saying, it's kind of nice because it's something that you can turn on when you want, and then you can turn off when you may not need it. So in a busier week, in a busier time, I'm not making nearly as many calls, but best like when I'm really going after expires and really wanting to up my business, I definitely do it Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'll even do it Saturday, Sunday. But yeah.
Okay. And what's your goal when you make that initial call? If you get a voicemail versus if you actually connect with the person, what's your goal? What's that look like both ways?
I think the goal is always to set an appointment. And the main thing is trying to spark up enough connection on that phone call just to get them to agree to meet with you. And I think if you can just get them to agree to meet with you, then once you're in front of them, then things are a lot easier than over a phone call.
Are you leaving a voicemail?
I am. And again, like when I'm really going after expireds, like I'll leave a voicemail, I'll send them a text, and especially if it's a listing that I like would really want to get. I'll call them again in the afternoon, I'll call them again in the evening, and then I'll just kind of keep on that routine until they either block me or say that they're not interested.
Okay. And you mentioned a moment ago that you found if you don't do them in the morning, it's not even worth doing because 30 other agents have already reached out. So what's your approach, style, pitch, whatever you want to call it, that's differentiating you from those 30 other agents? What do you feel is working for you?
So I wouldn't necessarily say that I have anything that's insanely different than what other agents do. I think a lot of it is timing. Like sometimes I just get lucky where maybe 10 other agents called him before me, but then I'm the 11th call, and then for whatever reason they take my call, but they don't take their call.
Yeah.
So I do think that there's definitely an aspect of that where you have to put yourself in a position to have the conversation. But then I think it's also just being genuine, being, really caring about their needs. When you call an expired, the main thing that they're wanting is to figure out why their house didn't sell and how, if they relist it, how they can get the house sold. And when you're calling them with confidence that you have the solution to their problem.
So along that note, you're asking them some probing questions. You're trying to figure some things out. Is there like a question or two that you ask that you feel is like the most important question that really can get the connection between you and the seller, or get to the root of their problem to build that confidence and trust?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the biggest thing is just trying to figure out what happened, right? Because their house was on the market for 6 months. Did they have showings? Did they have any offers? Did they have like what do they think went wrong? And then tailoring the conversation from there. Because a lot of times the seller will have an opinion as to why the house didn't sell, or they'll have ideas as to what may have went wrong or what could have been done differently. And you would be surprised by, or maybe you won't be surprised, but just by how many conversations that I have where the seller just didn't like the agent that they were working with. And they had a poor experience with the previous agent that they were working with. And for whatever reason, they ended up losing trust with that agent. And I think at that point, when a client loses trust with an agent, especially on the listing side, it doesn't matter what that agent says or what that agent does. It's like a lot of times they just want out of the contract.
Good to know. Okay.
What is like the biggest reason, I guess, that you see like that the house didn't sell? And is it always pricing, or are there like other factors? Like these are my top 3 common like reasons that you see.
Yeah, I think when I backtrack a lot of the expired listings that I have sold, and I look at the marketing compared to, you know, professional photography, getting a video, getting drone shots, getting a 3D tour. There are still a lot of agents out there that don't use professional photography, that maybe only put two sentence descriptions into the listing. So there's really small minor things like that you can change. I think sometimes it does come down to price. And I think in those situations, the seller may even know that it's a pricing issue, but they may not trust their agent, or may not.
That they didn't like market it enough to.
Right,
Yeah.
because I think in a lot of these situations, I want to give the seller, like the seller can't have any other reason to blame other than price. If I do like, hey, we got the professional photography, I've done the open houses, I did this, I did that, I did this, I'm in constant communication with them. We still haven't gotten it sold. Like, and I'm upfront with them at the beginning. Like, if I think it was overpriced, I'll just tell them it was overpriced. I'm not gonna pitch them on, hey, I think I could sell your house for $250 when it's worth $200,000.
I think one thing I hope everybody just heard Jason say was that he's ensuring he's doing everything on his end through the photography, through the marketing, through the open house. He's showing up for his sellers so that if the house isn't selling, there is no question it's priced. Because they're not going to be able to come back on Jason and say, well, like, why didn't you do this? And a lot of times when you pick up an expired listing, and you even as simple as like an open house, I've heard it myself where like, oh, you're doing an open house. The other agent didn't do an open house in 6 months, you know. So like you're showing them that you're working for them. Good stuff. What objections are you hearing from expireds when you're talking to them and trying to get that appointment?
So I hear a lot of it was the market. I mean, especially when you're getting listings that are expiring towards the beginning of the year, or maybe in the, you know, end of Q3, Q4 timeframe, a lot of people will say, well, it's the timing of the market. It's not a good time to sell right now. So I hear a lot of that. I hear a lot of, you know, we're thinking we still want to move, but we just are going to push it off for right now. And I hear a lot of that they want to relist it with the same agent. So those are probably the main that I.
So not to put you on the spot, but putting you on the spot. Jason, I think it was just a bad time in the market right now. You know, the kids are back in school. It's getting colder. I think I'm just going to hold off till spring. What would you say to me?
Absolutely. No, I think the springtime is a great time to great time to relist the home back on the market. May I ask what your original intentions on selling the home were? I think it's just redirecting them back to their motivation and re-pushing them, because I've had conversations like that, and then we don't end up listing it until the end of spring. So I don't think it's my it's not necessarily my position to say right now is the best time to list, because maybe based off of their personal plans or based off of their goals, it may be best to hold off for another 6 months. So yeah, I would just try to redirect it to back to, well, why did you, if you wanted to wait until spring, why did you list it in September?
Okay, fair enough. Good. Can you walk us through a recent expired listing that you won?
Yeah, so a recent one that I sold, similar thing, I called them. Called them first thing in the morning and, I set an appointment. The appointment was set for maybe 3 days away from that initial call. So on the initial call, I was able to set an appointment. And then the appointment got pushed back, so then just follow up for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks until I finally actually ended up meeting with them. And when I go into those appointments, if I know the listing, like for this one, I knew it was overpriced. The first listing appointment that I go on, I may not even bring up price with them. The first meeting may just be about like, what's important to you? Like what went wrong the previous time? Tell me about the house. Like what's important to know about getting this thing sold? And then just developing that rapport with them. And then I may spend like an hour with them. And if they don't ask me about what I would list it for, then I may just hold off until the next meeting where we're getting a little bit more serious. And that's what happened with them, where we did that first meeting. At the end of the meeting, they said, hey, they were pretty much ready to continue forward with me. So I said, okay, well, let's set up another time where we can review more in depth the listing strategy, the price point that we want to come on at, and so forth. So they needed a couple months just to get some repairs done and to do some work on the property. So then just call in like on a weekly basis, hey, how are things going? How are things looking? Are you still on pace for this time frame? And then we listed it and had it sold in 2.5 weeks. So
Nice. Any memorable losses?
yeah, so I had a loss recently where it was a really nice listing. And I told him, hey, I think that you should have it listed for about 500,000. And I never ended up getting feedback from him, but it was then relisted with another agent for like 550,000. So I was wondering if the price, if another agent came in and said, hey, we'll sell it for 550,000, if that's what ended up being the difference for me or not. But I did end up running into him out at a restaurant, and he was like, look, we're coming to the end of our contract. I haven't had a good experience with this agent. She's got 1 more week to sell it. If she doesn't sell it, then like I'm gonna call you and have you list it. But surely enough, the agent got sorted out. Guess what it sold for? 500,000. So it's like in those situations, I would much rather miss out on a listing than not be, not advise my client in the best direction possible. And like I have 2 listings. Like the other thing I love about expireds is if you can come through on what you promise them, like if you promise like, hey, if you list it, I'm gonna do everything that I can to get this house sold, and if you come through and then you get the house sold, like those people are gonna be a referral for life. Like I got 2 listings that are coming up in the next 45 days, and both of those are either referrals from expireds or then the other one is another sale from an expired.
Nice. Got your unpaid brand ambassadors out there working for you.
That's right.
Very nice.
That's right.
Very nice. What else would you like to share about working expireds that we haven't talked about with everybody?
So I got licensed 7 years ago. I did 2 years of property management, and then I made the change into sales full time. When I made that change, I was so anxious about everything. Like making 10 calls in a day was like way overwhelming to me.
I think a lot of us can relate to that.
But then I just noticed like my tolerance would just go up more and more. And then, I got to a point when I was on a real estate team and I was making, 200, 300 calls on a dialer a day. And I say that as encouragement to people that may struggle on the phone, that the more you do it, the more reps you get in, like the better that you will get. And then I think what also really helped me was when I first got started, I felt like I felt way too much pressure to convert every lead that I was calling or that I was on the phone with. And when you're coming from that mindset of like it's a kind of a scarcity mindset where it's like if I can't convert this lead, if I can't convert this appointment, then it's like I'm not gonna get a deal, I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills, I'm not gonna be able to which can be a reality for your situation, but you have to figure out how to change that mindset because I feel like leads can tell when you're desperate and people notice when when you have that commission breath, they can smell it, I'm sure.
Absolutely. That's a great.
So the last thing I'll say is like you can't put too much pressure on it, but then you also just you have to treat it as your job. Like making calls is just my job. And I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna make calls because it's just what I have to do. It's not, you're not doing it because you need to convert someone and you need to get a deal right now. You're just doing it because that's part of your job.
Anybody have any questions related to expires? Diana?
So when you're making the calls and you're getting the phone, are you using Forewarn to get the phone numbers? And then are you checking like the do not call lists and all of that? Or-
So I was using a system called Badge Dialer and they just did that. They pulled the information and would review, okay, this has on the do not call, this one is on the do not call and doing it that way.
And do you pay for that?
Yeah.
It's a service you.
Yeah, so I did pay for that, but then you can also get that, you can get information just on like just Google searching. You'd be surprised by how much information comes out of that. But even if you're just doing one contact, like there's even some systems that you can just do a few contacts at a time and you're paying like a few cents per contact. So if you do have an expense, it's very, very minimal.
Anybody else?
Do you find that your experience from selling, let's say one expired, has helped you on your calls and getting more expireds to work with you?
Yeah, so I think selling one expired is an easy way to sell more expired. Because you just have a testimony from that. Like I have a review that I send out anytime I get off. I always send a call and I'm like, hey, I have a recent review that I got from a client who was in the exact same situation as you. Would you mind if I texted that review over to you? And then when I go on a listing appointment, I typically leave a copy of that review with them as well. That just outlines, if there's a situation, and then I just go off of the experience that I had with those previous sales. Like I understand your other agent wasn't able to sell it in 6 months. And I understand that you think all agents do the same exact thing, but if you just give me 20 minutes to review what I may be able to do a little bit differently, I would greatly appreciate that opportunity. And a lot of people say yes. So
cool. Any other? Anybody? All right, well, gentlemen, thank you. Good stuff. So next up, I'd like to invite Sarah from Central Leverage. Embry.
Hi, guys.
All right, if that's not the best.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck looking at her. I'll talk to her. I'm Sarah. I am a transaction coordinator for Essential Leverage, and we have grown so much that we have brought on Bree. So this is Bree Ripley. She's in here. Yeah. Sorry. I want to say like what we can do for you. The point of Essential Leverage is transaction coordinating. So we help you when you go under contract. If you guys are busy out and about showing homes, talking to your expired listing people, looking at your SOI and stuff like that. I just want to take we want to take, I gotta get the hang of this. We want to take some of the load off your shoulders
for what you have to do when you're under contract. So sending in earnest money instructions, making sure your inspections have been scheduled, is all of your documents completely compliant, ROC finished. Essentially making all of those T's crossed and whatever, I's dotted, and making sure that's all good. One less thing you have to worry about. And then what else? Anything else?
I just wanted to say, my whole life I've been surrounded by realtors and I know how hard you guys work. Definitely don't want to do any of that, but I want to help. Yeah, so you know, all of the little things that you guys are so sick of doing, like the documents and the emails and just little things, I like that stuff. So I would be happy to help out wherever anybody needs me.
Yeah. It's a one-time fee. It's $325 per transaction. If you guys don't close, you don't get paid either, because I understand you guys didn't. And then we're available pretty much all the time. And then of course, if you have any questions about anything, you know where to find us. And if ignore my number, we'll get you with Bree, because hers is not up there. But yeah, let us know if you need anything.
Happy to help.
Good.
Unpaid testimony for Essential Leverage and Sarah specifically. Sarah handles all my team's transactions and she does an amazing job. I can't recommend her highly enough. I have used others and I will not stray from her, and you will not leave me.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, and she always comes through. She's always on top of everything. So the actors portrayed in this video have not been paid. Thank you, ladies. Welcome to the team. All right, so a couple upcoming things. We have, before next month's team meeting on August 11th, we have headshots with Chris Guthrie. He's going to be here from 9:30 to 11. So if you need to update those headshots, and some of us do, if some of us you need headshots where your head is fully intact,
Get a new headshot.
and maybe some people are telling you in public spaces to get a new headshot, show up on August 11th. Chris does a great job. Next up, our baby photo contest.
Hello, everybody. So the Culture Committee did a fun baby photo contest. So if you didn't participate, you missed out, but I am going to reveal these wonderful babies right now. And I have the winner in my hand here. So our first baby was Gina, which Gina looks the same. And look at Erica. The little Rubik's Cube. Knew she was being smart like that. Christine was number 3. We got Sam.
Yeah, now.
And look at Cassandra. Little girl Hannah.
Where is that one?
No change here.
Yeah.
No.
I think I've still seen her in the hat.
We have Ashley Richards.
She was.
And Bailey in her bonnet. Very cute. All that personality.
All right.
And Sam LaFew. Sam, lots of people thought that I was you.
Yes.
And Diana, that's one of my favorites, I gotta say. That picture is so studious.
I was there.
And there I am with my first cat. I know. You would be barely anybody got me right.
Wow.
I know. I even gave you a hint. That was my first cat. So our winner, it says on here on the submission, she got 10 right. It says my favorite LaCourte. So this puts me in a predicament here. Sorry, Jason. Alexandra, you're the winner.
Well, thank you to the Culture Committee for coming up with that fun little exercise. And unfortunately, I don't know if Jose, if you're still on the Zoom, but there was a baby picture.
There was an additional baby.
As a bonus guess, and it was amazing.
Yes.
So, this week, guys, Thursday, July 16th, Summer Masterminds coming up in Independence. There's a great lineup. We have our own Austin Samsel is on a panel about marketing social media. Our own Erica is saying a moderator one. Yeah, thank you. The word slipped my mind. So if you haven't registered and you'd like to attend, there's still time. It's Thursday, Independence. It's 9 a.m. to 1:30, I believe, if I remember correctly. Lots of good stuff going on up there. So if you want to register, I'll put this QR code back up here in a moment. Education Day is coming up on Wednesday, July 22nd, where Liz, with all her personality, and me with none of my personality, will be there practicing our negotiations. I was informed last week I'm doing this. I believe I am representing the seller, and I am going to be a complete PETA to Liz and see how far her personality will get her.
I'm pretty sure you're doing the buyer, but it's fine.
Whatever.
Tuesday, July 28th, I am doing a class on the new marketing applet in Command. If you've been in your Command, hopefully you have been, you should see that there is a whole new applet. No. It's great. Yes, yay. What I mainly want to talk about is there was a big changes to the ads, and actually the ads have some really, really cool insights that you can nerd out on. I was so nerdy with Caitlin that I had a call with her. I'm like, you have to see these things. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about in that class. Don't listen to Bree. Hire her for transaction coordination. But please come to my class.
Yeah, and I can testify to it. Amanda went over it with me and shared it with me, and I had a lot of oohs and ahs. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in there. This one, super excited. Some of you asked and you received. So coming up at the end of July 29th, 11 to 1 at the venue at Green Tree, we are going to do our first ever Realtor Speed Match. So think speed dating for fellow agents who are interested in learning more about teams. So we currently have 7 Rainmakers registered to attend, and we are going to have any agent that is interested in learning more about a team, has possibly been thinking about joining a team, be able to go around and talk to the different Rainmakers and ask questions, learn more, see if there's a fit. So if you're a Rainmaker and you haven't registered, and we'll have more reminders out there. We've already done our first round of email invites to the Rainmakers and to the agents. And this is for outside of KW as well. So if you have agents and other brokerages that you know of that might benefit from joining a team or has expressed interest that they might want to learn more about a team, invite them in. So we'll have some marketing material for all of you to share on your socials and to send to people, text messages, personal reach outs always work best. But we're super pumped about this. Want to make it a great event. And again, some of the Rainmakers asked, and here we are delivering. And we think it'll be a great thing. And we also have coming up on Friday, September 11th, the 10th annual Kevin Klee Memorial Golf Outing. It'll be held back at Arrowhead Golf Course again. It is $500 for a foursome, so $125 per golfer, and that includes your dinner, correct?
Correct.
So great event. Get out there on a great course for a great cause, and sign up and register now. And let's go raise a lot of money for our own KW Cares program and have a good time out there, just enjoying each other's company and trying to hit some golf balls.
I also want to add, if you refer to the email you will get Sunday in the newsletter, there is a sponsorship form. If you know any business that you would like to invite to sponsor the event, we are looking for sponsors. So that will be in your inbox Sunday morning, and also gift baskets. We would love donations for the silent auction, not the silent auction. The Duttons are not silent. For the auction. So if you want to donate a gift basket, please be on the lookout for that and get that to us. So.
And it doesn't have to just be KW people, it can be anybody. Invite anybody. If you other lenders, anything, sponsors, just ask anybody you know.
Yeah, we want to raise as much as we can. This is our big fundraiser event for the year, and the money raised goes to do good things within our agent community. So let's make it happen. And that is it. So appreciate you all coming out. Special thank you to Jason and Christian for spending some time with us, sharing your knowledge around the gold letters and expired listings. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you got something good out of it today. And go eat.